Will you be deployed as a Navy Reservist? That is what I'm going to talk about today, so stay tuned. So, mobilization. Most individuals say deployment, but in the reserves, it's mobilization. A reservist is mobilizing from a reserve status to an active duty status. Now, it is not as common as many individuals would think to be voluntold, recalled for orders at any time during your career. I was recalled one time, and that was back in 2007. It was the entire unit. It was our OSU unit, Operational Support Unit. We were recalled to Balad, Iraq for doing a customs mission. But other than that, unless you are attached to like an NECC community unit, such as Coastal Riverine, cargo handling, a Mesron, the Seabees, things of that nature, it is less likely that you will be recalled or voluntold that you're going somewhere. Now, I am basing all this off of my time in the reserves. I was active duty, crossed over the reserve side, spent a great deal of my reserve time on active duty orders, and I retired on the reserve side. Now, I still stay in touch daily with those still serving in the reserves, both in a drilling status, along with those that are currently mobilized, either overseas or even here in the States, because you can have mobilization orders in the States, along with things called ADSW orders, ADT, things of that nature. So there's different ways you can be on orders. But the fact of individuals constantly asking me, what are my chances of being deployed, sent overseas because I don't want to go, you may want to rethink the reserves, because your sole purpose is to support active duty, to be called up when needed. And I do know reservists that have gone their entire career and somehow never went anywhere. I know one individual spent a couple months in Cuba. That was it, 20 plus years. But it is extremely rare. Chances are you're going to be tagged, what they call tagged for a MOB, and sent at least once, possibly twice, if you were to do like 20 years in the reserves. Now, if you're coming from active duty and you affiliate with the reserves within that first 6 months, you are not supposed to be touched for 2 years. You're supposed to have a deferment. Now, you can waive that deferment and go on orders if you choose to, which is what most reservists do, which is another reason why so many reservists are not told that they have to go on orders, because there's so many reservists that volunteer. It's good money. It's very good money. Now, as far as your pay grade, higher ranking, more years of service, you're going to make a lot more money. Also, along with where you're going to be mobilized to. So, there are opportunities on ships. They are very rare. For the most part, reservists are, like I said, they can be sent in the States, but they're sent to locations still like Afghanistan, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain. The hotspot for 7-8 years-ish or so has been Djibouti in Africa, Horn of Africa. So things of that nature. Like I said, there are opportunities occasionally on ships. Even most recently with the USNS Comfort, they were asking for reservists for both the Mercy and the Comfort. But like the Comfort most recently had asked, before they returned back home to Norfolk, for MAs for doing like security. So there are a lot of opportunities, and even what's in place now, as soon as something else happens in the world, needs of the Navy, things change. And for instance, an example being the unfortunate shooting that we had up in Tennessee several years ago at a recruiting station. What that changed for the reserve side was MAs coming on orders for 3 years at the NOSC. They were providing security. So something happens, the Navy reacts to it. they implement the reserves, and it can be either you stay in your community. I know individuals that live like down here locally in Miami, and they came on 3-year orders. And I also know individuals that have gone as far as, you know, other half of the country serving at a NOSC, providing security. So, you know, it's different. But the idea is, I do not recommend someone saying, I want to join the reserves, but I don't want to go anywhere in the States or overseas, and you're providing support to whatever mission it is. So, like I said, if you're attached to a certain unit, chances are greater, but a lot of individuals, they volunteer. I was one of those individuals, volunteered a lot, made some real good money. Also, for every day you spend on active duty, it's a retirement point. Because unlike active duty reserves, retirement is based off of retirement points. More points equals more money once you retire. So if you're coming like from active duty, how many ever days you served, how many ever years, 365 days per year, unless it's leap year, you're just going to count 1 point for every day that you served. Those points will carry over to your reserve time. Ideally, to have an equivalent retirement for active duty on the reserve side, you want 7,500 points. So do the math, and you can see that you need a lot of active duty time to have that equivalent retirement. But there's other ways other than your drill weekends, doing courses, Navy funerals. Now it has been altered in the way they're doing things because of the COVID-19. They are still asking for individuals to go on mobilizations, things of that nature. Mission of the Navy still continues. It does not stop because of a virus or anything else such of that nature. And God forbid we have another 9/11 or some major conflict, World War III. I mean, everything I just said is out the window. I can be recalled even though I'm retired. So once you sign that bottom line, the government owns you. They just do. So you have to really look at, why are you wanting to serve? And as far as those that have a civilian job and you're concerned about how your employer may react, USERRA, it is a law that protects you. Now, you can go on orders, and I know individuals that have gone on orders up to 5 years. They just kept renewing ADSW orders back to back to back, and so on and so forth. Now, you're allowed to go up to 5 years and still keep your civilian job in place. There is a fine print in the USERRA law saying technically they don't have to hold your exact position. They have to hold a position, same pay, same benefits. But the fact is, you have a position up into that 5-year mark, should you do 5 years, and then you can return back to your job. As far as your boss maybe being upset with you, I have seen that happen. They have made some individuals that I know personally, their life miserable because they're not happy about it. But that's when you get USERRA and the lawyers that support and protect the military reserve members involved. So, and your orders, when you are, regardless if you're recalled or if you volunteer, it doesn't matter. Your orders will never say volunteer. It'll say that you were ordered to go on this mobilization. So it covers you there. But I think I covered about all the questions that I was asked about reservists being mobilized. If I did not, please comment down below or send me an email. Let me know what I may have missed or what additional questions you have. I'd be more than happy to answer them. And until the next video, you guys please be safe, take care, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye.